Hello, men, women, and genders beyond. Welcome to Art Mood. Pardon me. I'm Matthew, your guide for today, and we are doing this art channel to share the joy of art, which can be historical or contemporary, paintings, sculptures, or even photography. We would like to hear from you, so join us or leave a message if you like what we do, and give us a follow as well. That'd be neat. Um, yeah. So instead of the usual stuff we discuss on this channel, I'll be looking at some illustrations today. Um, actually, I wanted to mention that last week I was actually going to do a discussion about someone else, but I planned it wrong. So I hope to actually do this video one day, this discussion. But today, let's talk about somebody else. So we'll be talking about Yusuke Kozaki's KYMG 2. Well, first of all, I first saw his work in No More Heroes, and then in Fire Emblem Awakening and in Fire Emblem Fates. You might actually also recognize his work in Pokemon Go. He designed the original characters in that game. His thing is to do character designs for a lot of games. He has very nice hair, right? Very luscious hair, very sleek. Often he does the majority of character designs, I've noticed, in a lot of these games. In some cases he'll do one of art for some of the games, like God's Eater. He's kind of an all-rounded artist, so he's pretty much able to draw anything, you know. He can draw backgrounds, he can draw men and women, he can do all of that. I think maybe his number one best point is most likely the fashion for these characters. He's very good at drawing different types of fashion. So it could either be fantasy or grounded in reality, not realism. And yeah, you can do all of that. Quite a lot of illustrators can't do that though, actually. There's quite a number of them that can't even, let's say, draw both genders, or they can't draw backgrounds. So he's top notch. It's probably why he's actually doing a lot of work for a lot of games recently. He also worked on manga. I suppose that's how he started initially. He would work on manga with some writers. So he doesn't usually write manga. He usually just does the artwork for them. One of the ones he worked on actually was called Kyoko Kurasuma. It's got a much longer name, but it often is just shortened to Kyoko Kurasuma. It's a story about a detective that fights against Oni in Asakusa, Tokyo. And it actually looks quite interesting, especially since you can kind of see the evolution of his artwork in this book series. As far as I know, there's 10 volumes of it. So, I don't know if it's in English actually. I couldn't actually find English versions of it. But, maybe if you can read Japanese. Actually, it's also in Italian and some other European languages. So, if you can find it, check it out. I might check it out at some point myself. Speaking of which, let's check out this book. This book actually has some of his artwork from that particular manga. Just a moment. Let's see. Oop. So, story. I found this book actually when I was in Japan a few years ago. I recently got into his artwork, and I sometimes when I get into some illustrators artwork, I try to find out if they have any books. So yeah, I found that he had quite not a few of them, and I couldn't find the first volume, so I couldn't find KYMG 1, but I found 2 and 3, um, which is fine because 2 and 3 are kind of very good representations of his current work. I did see some pictures from the first one, and yeah, they're a bit dated, but they're still great. And maybe one day I might get my hands on the first one, but um, yeah. So the book's about 2,800 yen in Japan, which is roughly about £18 or $23, and it's got 134 pages, and it's a little bigger than A4. So we're gonna look at some images, but it was very hard to scan them in because they didn't fit exactly on the scanner too well. So that was a bit annoying. But you know, so a lot of these are my scans, but some of them I had to find online. And even though it's 134 pages, we're only going to discuss maybe about 7 or 8 of them. We'll look at a few select pages that I liked. I also picked ones that kind of give a general vibe of what kind of work this guy does. But yeah, I do also like the cover of this book. It's very symmetrical, but the symmetrical parts of this character are more the robotic parts of her. And the face is quite symmetrical, but things like the hair and the arms aren't. And I don't know, it looks really good. And I'm also kind of a sucker for hair. He's very good at drawing kind of good strands of hair. And I've mentioned in a few of my videos that I'm very into hair drawings. So, yeah. So another thing to mention about the book is that it's broken into different sections. And so this is a scan I did. It's 2 pages. It's a 2-page spread. It was hard to scan it, but I did my best. So each part of the book is broken into sections, and is between each section is kind of a 2-page spread, and it's generally a collage of sketches or the upcoming art in that section. So it looks great, but yeah, I believe some of these are actually from the manga. So this particular splash page is for the manga I was talking about earlier, Kyoko Karasuma. Sorry, it's hard to say. It's a tongue twister. Kyoko Karasuma. And yeah, I picked this one because it's a nice collage compared to the other collages in the book. All of them are great, but I just kind of prefer this one. And yeah, it's also, I'm sure it's also just parts of the manga used in this collage. And I don't know, it actually makes me want to read the manga more. And at the beginning of the book, it's a lot of the pages are from this manga, mostly art from the front cover or art maybe used in promotional stuff. So yeah, I would recommend checking out the rest of the pages to see the other splash art from this particular manga. Yeah, let's check out the next one. So this one I actually put 2 pages together. I'm quite fond of the No More Heroes franchise, and my favorite character is Shinobu. I like her hairstyle and I like her fashion. especially No More Heroes 2. So in this particular book, it's actually artwork from No More Heroes 2, not the first one. Which is fine because I like the second one a lot. Um, I do like the image on the left though. I picked that one particularly because of how her scarf spirals upwards. It's a very neat touch to the design. Um, I always like it when artists or illustrators put a little bit of kick in the construction of the image. So it could have just been a very simple squat on the ground, but you have the scarf going upwards in a spiral. You also have her pulling the sword out on her back in a very kind of peculiar way, and you can see there's a lot of emphasis on the thighs, on the lace thigh highs, and the fluffy skirt, and most of the character herself is quite dark tones, but a very bright white hair. It just looks very cool. It's a very simple image, but I like it. And then you have the one on the right, which also has Shinobu on the bottom right of the image, and you also have Travis there with both two beam katanas, and you can kind of see it's sort of separated, kind of the three characters in that image. So you have the one at the top, one at the bottom, and one on the left. And also the black splats on the back of the image look very cool. It's not red, there's a little red splatter on the bottom page, bottom of the page, and yeah, I didn't notice it actually, but it actually does give the image some depth, and maybe by choice or not by choice, but you can kind of see parts of the character Travis's lighting. It's actually kind of a neat trick. You just rub out parts of the clothing and the image so that whatever background you put it on, it kind of shows, it kind of gives lighting to the image. So because it's put on a yellow background, it creates a yellow light on the character. So if you put on a white background, it would create a white light. If you put on a black background, it would create shadows. It's very cool. I've never actually thought of doing that, but it's quite cool. Might be a good trick for budding artists to try. Oh, just a moment. Okay, yeah, it's back. Okay, let's look at the next one. So I'm not necessarily a big fan of Vocaloid. I don't know much about it. I mean, I know Hatsune Miku, but that's really it. But you kind of forget about the other characters who are in Vocaloid. I mean, I'm not a big fan, so I don't know if how many characters there are in Vocaloid, but apparently this character is from Vocaloid. To those of you who might not know Vocaloid, it's the best way I can explain it is like kind of an AI that sings songs. And it's I don't know. I've never used it, but I know people are really crazy about it, like a lot. I saw a lot of Miku Hatsune stuff when I was in Japan as well. It's pretty big. Yeah. I don't know who this character is though, but I suppose this character was designed by Kozaki himself. But if I had to describe this piece in one word, it would be stars. Just stars everywhere. You have the stars in the background, the star in on top of her head. You can see that there. And you have the stars in her eyes as well. the star on her microphone, the stars in her hair, and the stars like made with her fingers as well. And also the lighting is really good in terms of like it it gives her kind of a plastic appearance, which I guess is kind of the idea because I think she's either a robot or an android or something, a mannequin or something. But yeah, and he's even got this kind of glow around the character as well. It's there's a lot more of this character in the book, and it's just one of them. I think there's at least 20 other images of her in the book, so if you like this one, you'll find others in the book. But I particularly like this one. Not that it's the best, it's just I just like this one more. This one, I vibe with this one more. Okay, give me a sec. Next one. So, have you guys heard of Donatsu? I have never heard of it until recently. So it's a manga and anime about a post-apocalyptic Tokyo where these animal pastry hybrids live. And the manga was actually created by Kozaki, written and penned. It was written and the art was done by him, made by him as well. And it kind of surprised me because the images I saw, I just didn't connect that it was Kozaki who made this. And I've never heard of this story before, really. I think I forgot where you can watch the episodes. I'm sure you can track them down. I don't think it's on Crunchyroll, but you could check, I guess. I feel like it's not there, but you could check there, I guess. There's also the manga. I don't think it's in English, but if you happen to find a copy in Japan, I recommend it. Especially since this is just one page of that particular section. A lot of the pages are really high end details of a destroyed Tokyo, which seems kind of random, to be honest. I don't know how you can put post-apocalyptic Tokyo and donut-shaped cats in the same kind of story, but he found a way. Yeah, doesn't really look like any of his work, but yeah, I mean it's good. They're cute, I guess. And next one. So this one I liked because it kind of invokes a traditional Japanese painting. So it's got minimal colors. It's just grays, black, white, and one red patch of the image. It's very similar to a lot of the paintings we looked at earlier when we started the stream with Ophelia. It's quite cool, personally. It's like a modern ukiyo-e painting. So the outfit is, based on a Sailor Fuku uniform, but it looks quite similar to the uniforms they had back in the Taisho period. Taisho period is, it's the equivalent of like the British Victorian period, so the early 1900s. If you think of Demon Slayer is in that same time period. So yeah, and it's kind of a modern looking samurai with all these belts and pouches and a kind of traditional but kind of modern hairstyle. It's very cool, and it's not from anything. It's just an original piece of work by him. And Also, you can kind of see some tattoos on her arm. A tattoo. And I think it kind of puts the image together. It kind of gives you an idea of what kind of person this is. Just a very hardened warrior, or soldier or something. The uniform, the pouches, the tattoo, the discipline. You can kind of see it from this character. But yeah, almost done. Oh no, yeah, kind of almost done. So this image I couldn't actually scan, so I had to look up online for one that for a JPEG of this particular one. It's kind of difficult because I couldn't fit the image on the scanner, so I just had to find an image online. And even this image, I couldn't find a really high quality version of it. You can kind of see it's a bit blurry, but it's quite cool, I think. Again, I think this is just an original character, so she's not from anything, but it's a cool concept. And I recommend, this is one of the pages I recommend checking out if you find the book, because it's a fold out page, and folding it in certain ways gives you different aspects of the image. So it's multiple images in one, technically. And yeah, this is just one aspect of the image. So I recommend checking this one out. If not for anything else, check this one. And yeah, I it's one of the best parts of the book, honestly. And this is the last image we'll look at today. It was hard to scan this image initially. Not initially. Like it was hard to scan it, period, because it was a two-page spread. So I just found an image online, and I found out this image is from a game called Tactics Ogre, which I've kind of heard of, but I've never played it, and yeah, I might play it one day. Might be good. I like RPGs as much as the next guy. So yeah. So I just googled this image. So from the actual book, and it's hard to see it properly, but the lines are really faint. The outlines, and they look very pencil like. The actual book itself, it looks amazing. It looks very soft. Even though it's digital, it looks just very like it gives the character kind of a fragile type of look, especially for the hair. It looks a bit more. Maybe I'm just over analyzing it, but it looks more transparent, at least in the book. And the color palette I should just say, it's made of soft colors, and the character itself kind of blends in with the flowers in the back. So the same grays and the same whites, and the hair kind of matches the flowers colors as well. If you look just a teeny bit. Yeah, and even I don't know if this character is an actual character in the game series. Probably she is, but you can kind of tell a lot by just looking at her. That not even without the flowers, you can sort of tell she's a tragic character, or she's a hero, but maybe she's lost a lot and she has a lot of duty and responsibility, and she has a lot of like heavy burdens and the like. But she's also kind of kind, maybe. Um, and I like, that's the thing about being a character illustrator, is that you have to convey a lot of this in just one image, and and I think that's kind of difficult. You have some artists like I remember this game back in the day, a long time ago, on the GameCube called Baiten Kaitos, and the main character is wearing a scarf, a jacket, but he's also wearing shorts and flip flops or something. And I thought it was such a weird design for a character, and it always irked me because I felt like, what is he? Is he hot? Is he cold? What's going on? It's just weird. It's original, I'm sure, but it's just weird. But this is just awesome, especially the lace on the kind of ribbons on the legs from lace. It's very cool, personally. Um, and yeah, this book also contains artwork from games like Fire Emblem Awakening and Liberation Maiden, and some other projects that I'm not too familiar with. There's one image from God's Eater, so yeah. Um, so, um, I picked those particular pages because I wanted to kind of give a good vibe of what type of art this person does, Yusuke Kozaki. Um, because his work is quite diverse. He goes from drawing like cats fused with pastries to schoolgirls to otakus of lightsabers and all sorts of things that are kind of cool but also kind of weird. So it's a kind of a balance of both, you know. Um, so what I like to do with some of these videos is I like to talk about what kind of stuff they might be working on now, so you can kind of check them out. Not kind of, no, definitely check them out. So, number one is this game series. Give me a moment. I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's called the Somnium Files. So, personally, I've only played the demo of the first game. There's a second game coming out very soon. So, if you want to maybe understand what's going on, you probably have to play the first one. And like I said, I played the demo of the first game, and I think it's fun. Um, it's made by the people that made Danganronpa. So if you like Danganronpa or Phoenix Wright games, so it's you probably will like this one. It's very text heavy. It's I believe you're playing as a detective. And yeah, I really like the character designs too. They're really cool. And I always like images where it's a collage or it's a bunch of people together. I don't know. I think it's a kind of I think it's a hard thing to do, and I think he's also kind of good at creating vibes from the characters he designs, so you can kind of tell what kind of person they are. You know, which is something that as a character designer you have to be able to do. You should have people be able to tell what a character's like just by look alone. And we also have let's see. Ah, there we go. So he's been working on a lot of Fire Emblem Hero stuff recently. So he generally designs a lot of the main characters in that particular game. So, um, so the main characters and some of the villains as well. I think there was one book in the game where a lot of characters are designed by someone else, and maybe I might discuss this other artists in the future. But yeah, um, so online I've been seeing a lot of images of that particular the girl in the center, uh, the fake cowgirl. I think she actually was quite cool. Um, I might draw fan art of her one day. Who knows? And yeah, she's become very popular online recently. So I just see her on Twitter all the time. And yeah, at the moment, it's a new story in the Fire Emblem Heroes game. So she's kind of the main-ish character of that part of the story. I played it a little bit, and it's quite interesting. I'm really behind on the story though, so uh, I don't know exactly what's going on, but it's interesting. Um, yeah, I don't remember her name. She's just fake cowgirl to me, fake cow lady. Um, and lastly, we have No More Heroes 3. That came out maybe last month or the month before. And yes, he also worked on this game, and a lot of the characters are quite cool. And the game itself is quite fun. It plays like a typical No More Heroes game. Not Travis Strikes Again, but just like the first and second No More Heroes game. So lots of sword fighting and wrestling moves and uh, bizarre writing and weird jokes and a out of touch main character who is really obsessed with fighting people, you know. Except now he's fighting aliens, so that's it's quite interesting, I think. And at the moment it's only on the Switch, so you know if you have a Switch, go ahead. I mean, why not? But I feel like just like the first game, maybe um, it'll be on other consoles later in the future. But for now, it's just on the Switch. But yeah, I recommend it. It's got good music. It's just a very weird game, but with good action. So yeah, I recommend it definitely. Just go out and buy it now. I can wait. Um, and yeah, I also wanted to say you should check out his Twitter as well. Um, actually, a lot. I follow him on Twitter, and it's also one of the reasons I went to go buy his book in Japan. Was he often posts a lot of work that he's working on. So usually when a character is coming out in Fire Emblem Heroes, he posts the artwork on Twitter, and or even not just Fire Emblem Heroes, also Pokemon Go, and yeah. So and also he posts pictures of food. So yeah, you can if you like food and art, then yeah, go and check him out. Um, as for what I'll talk about another time, not quite sure yet. That's more or less it for today. Thanks for watching, and let us know what you think. Yeah, don't be afraid to give us a follow too, so you know when we're gonna post new stuff. The schedule changes quite a bit. Usually, I do these discussions on Thursdays, but I thought I would do them on Friday because I didn't plan my time out well yesterday. Um, so, also, you can message me on my. Give me a sec. Oh, right. So you can message me at Hoshizora Midwin on Twitter. If you have any, or you just message me here. If you have any ideas for what we should discuss one day, we discuss any form of art. So, yeah. And don't forget anything. Yeah, check out this stuff. I've got lots of art books for the future, so I will discuss some of those in the future. So next week I might have an idea of who to talk about, but if there's any other suggestions, I might think about it. So yeah. Thanks for watching, and hope you guys have a nice day or a good night. Cheers.